Today we are going to learn about pleura and lungs. The topic lungs will be in parts. So the first part for the topic lungs, the first video for the topic lungs is this one, and then you have to consecutively look at the other videos also. So if I give you a basic idea about the pleura, so pleura is again divided into a parietal layer and in visceral layer. So there is a parietal pleura and there is a visceral pleura. The parietal pleura is further divided into costal pleura, mediastinal pleura, cervical pleura, and the diaphragmatic pleura. Okay, if I go in a sequence, then there will be cervical pleura, then there will be mediastinal pleura, then there will be costal pleura, and then there will be diaphragmatic pleura. And if I am talking about the visceral layer or the visceral pleura, then the visceral layer gives off pulmonary septae which divides the lungs. Those pulmonary septae given by a visceral layer divide the lungs into the bronchopulmonary segments. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the visceral layer of the pleura gives off pulmonary septae, and those pulmonary septae divides the lungs into the bronchopulmonary segments. So got it? Okay, now please have a look at this picture. Okay, in this picture we can see that we have a lung over there. You can see the pleuras over there. Okay, the yellow color one, this yellow is all the pleural cavity. Okay, now have a look at it. This is clavicle, the portion of the pleura above the clavicle. Which pleura? Parietal pleura or visceral pleura? The parietal layer. The parietal layer of pleura, the portion above the clavicle is called the cervical pleura. This one is called the cervical pleura. Then this one is called the mediastinal pleura. Okay, this one is called the costal pleura, and this one is called the diaphragmatic pleura. So first one, the number one is what? Number one is cervical pleura, number two is mediastinal pleura, number three is costal pleura, number four is diaphragmatic pleura. So 1, 2, 3 and 4 are the parts of parietal pleura: cervical, mediastinal, costal, diaphragmatic. Okay, now the most dependent part of the pleural cavity is the costo-diaphragmatic recess, and we are going to learn about the costo-diaphragmatic recess now. What happens in costo-diaphragmatic recess? Okay, the costo-diaphragmatic recess is present between the costal pleura and the diaphragmatic pleura. Costo-diaphragmatic recess is present between the costal pleura and the diaphragmatic pleura, and this costo-diaphragmatic recess is the most dependent part of the pleural cavity. This costo-diaphragmatic recess is the most dependent part of the pleural cavity, and this costo-diaphragmatic recess is only used for pleural tapping. This is the area, or this is the place, or this is the thing that is used for pleural tapping. Now you may get a 5 marks question on costo-diaphragmatic recess. Now you will ask that what we have to write. Okay, so you have to tell the parts of the parietal pleura, then you have to tell the location of the costo-diaphragmatic recess, then you have to tell that is the most dependent part of the pleural cavity. You have to draw this diagram also stating the costo-diaphragmatic recess, this schematic diagram, and then last point that you can state is that this costo-diaphragmatic recess is used for pleural tapping. So this is all you have to write, nothing else. Now next, if we have a look at the next point, that is, if we trace along the mid-clavicular line, the base of the visceral pleura is 4 cm above the base of the parietal pleura. The base of the visceral pleura is 4 cm above the base of the parietal pleura in mid-clavicular line. In mid-scapular line, this distance is 5 cm, and in mid-axillary line, this distance is 9 cm. And in order to remember it, you can just remember it by seeing that the distance of the mid-clavicular line is 4 cm. The distance, the base of the visceral pleura is 4 cm above the base of the parietal pleura in mid-clavicular line, and this distance is 5 cm in the mid-axillary line. So if you add up 4 plus 5, that is, it comes out to be 9, and that 9 cm is the distance in the mid-axillary line. That is, the base of the visceral pleura is 9 centimeter above the base of the parietal pleura in mid-axillary line. Okay, and for all these scenarios, like if I talk about the mid-clavicular line, if I talk about the mid-scapular line, if I talk about the mid-axillary line, and for all these scenarios, we are considering the costodiaphragmatic recess only. We are considering what? We are considering costodiaphragmatic recess. Okay, we have to take a set point over there, that we are going to measure from, taking this as a center or this as a point. Okay, so that point is costodiaphragmatic recess only. And next point is, in mid-axillary line, the pleural tapping is done anywhere between 8th rib to 10th rib. Okay, you have to remember this, you have to memorize this, because in vivas or in your substage or in your MCQs, they can ask you this question, that in mid-axillary line the pleural tapping is done anywhere between 8th rib to 10th rib. Okay, you have to answer them anywhere between 8th rib to 10th rib. Okay, now the most important and the last topic for today's video is root of the lung. This is the most important topic. You can easily get a 5 marks question or 4 marks question only on the root of lung. Okay, and it is extremely easy, believe me, it is extremely easy. Okay, there are 2 roots of lung, obviously, because there we have 2 lungs. Right root of lung, left root of lung. In right root of lung, if you will observe, we have right root of lung, we have arch of azygos. Okay, then we have eparterial bronchus, hyparterial bronchus, and in between eparterial bronchus and hyparterial bronchus we have pulmonary artery in between. Okay, we have eparterial bronchus, we have hyparterial bronchus, we have pulmonary artery in between eparterial bronchus and hyparterial bronchus, and then we have these 2 pulmonary veins. Okay, so if I am talking about root of lung, what is root of lung? These all structures which I just told you, plus pulmonary ligament. Okay, now in this root of lung, in right root of lung, what all we can observe is that the arch of azygos, we have eparterial bronchus, we have hyparterial bronchus, we have pulmonary vein in between, pulmonary artery in between eparterial and hyparterial bronchus, and then we have 2 pulmonary veins. Now you will ask me a question, that why I have made pulmonary artery with a blue colored pen and why I have made pulmonary vein with a red colored pen. The answer lies in your NCERT textbooks of class 11th and 12th. It is a basic concept that pulmonary artery carries what? Deoxygenated blood, and pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood. Okay, so that's why. An arch of azygos is of blue color only. So arch of azygos, eparterial bronchus, pulmonary artery, hyparterial bronchus, eparterial, hyparterial, बीच में we have pulmonary artery and pulmonary veins. Now we can see the pulmonary ligaments are also there. So these pulmonary ligaments, this one is the pulmonary ligament. You can see the blue colored pen over there. This one is the pulmonary ligament, the yellow colored structure that you can see. I think so you can observe it, you can see it now. This is the pulmonary ligaments. These one are the pulmonary ligaments. So what are pulmonary ligaments? Pulmonary ligaments provide additional space. Pulmonary ligaments provide additional space for expansion of pulmonary veins. These pulmonary veins have to expand in order to accumulate more blood whenever more amount of blood is reaching to them. So this pulmonary ligament is the only one which expands, and it gives more space to pulmonary veins. Now if I am talking about the left root of lung, this one, left root of lung. Okay, so now in left root of lung we can see the arch of aorta. Arch of aorta in place of arch of azygos. Arch of azygos we have seen in right root of lung. In left root of lung we can see arch of aorta. Arch of aorta and pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery is seen. Left principal bronchus is seen. We can see pulmonary artery. We can see left principal bronchus, pulmonary veins, and this one is a pulmonary ligament. Rest all the things are same. Now let me ask you a question, that right lung is more prone to infection or the left lung? I'm giving you a minute. Just think and answer in the description, in the comment box, sorry. Which lung is more prone to infection, right or left, and why? "40 seconds more." Come on, you know the answer. Okay, no problem. Let me tell you. The right principal bronchus. Okay, firstly, I will tell you the answer. The right lung is more common for infection. The chances of infection is more in right lung as compared to left lung. Why? The right principal bronchus, the right bronchus is shorter, wider, and more vertical as compared to left principal bronchus. Okay, so any infectious particle, if it goes, it can easily enter because it is wider. It has to travel less distance because it is shorter, and it doesn't have any obstruction in its path because it is more vertical. So right lung has more chances of infection. Okay, so this was all for today. I have mentioned a link in the description box for the test. Please attempt the test. That is a Google form test. Okay, so if you are new to our channel, please consider subscribing, and please press the like button and share it to your friends also. Thank you for watching. Have a great day ahead.